Hey guys, today my name is Arnold Schwarzenegger. I am with Randy Orton. Hi.
Hey, what's going on, bro?
What is your favorite moment that you had in the WWE?
Man, I've been there for 20 years, so there's so many. But I love the match with Edge at Backlash in a last man standing match. And some people loved it, some didn't, but as a competitor, it was a great feeling.
What is your thoughts on the legacy when you was put in the group?
Legacy was great, man. It was a blast. It was really cool to have two great young talent like Cody and Ted with me in the main event scene, and we all three became great friends behind the scenes. We all became really close.
What is your thoughts, Ted DiBiase Jr.?
Ted is great. As I said above, we are all still close friends. We'll go to each other's houses for barbecues, go on fishing trips, and just all around hang out. He's still great friends with Cody too. He's living a great life now.
If the WWE is done with you, what company you go to?
I would have to say AEW, just because a lot of my friends are there. Also, the schedule is a lot lighter than WWE, and I need that extra time off just to relax, heal up, and I have 3 kids.
You vs. Kenny Omega in what type of match?
That would be something. Omega is amazing, so it would have to be a great match. I think I would want the match to be a false count anywhere. It'd be awesome in AEW.
You versus Jon Moxley.
Moxley is another guy I have a lot of respect for. He's always working hard and has put out some stellar matches with the likes of Kenny Omega and NJPW. Moxley and I would probably go to war and have a no-holds-barred match. Match where we are both just trying to beat the hell out of one another.
You versus Adam Cole.
Adam Cole is an awesome talent and is really great as a heel. He's the type of fighter that will do anything to win. I'd get a great match with him in an Iron Man match. I say Iron Man just because we are both in great shape and both know we can go.
You vs. Kazuchika Okada in a dream match.
That would be an amazing match for sure. Okada is my size, which is rare because I'm bigger than a lot of the wrestlers. He's also amazing in the ring. He's always going 110%. I'd love to put on a show with Okada in a 2 out of 3 falls match.
You versus Hangman Adam Page.
Hangman really is great, man. It's been amazing to watch him develop as a wrestler and a character. He's still so young, too. My dream match with Hangman would be a 60-minute Iron Man match. Hangman and myself both know that it would go the distance. Plus, a 60-minute draw will have everyone talking.
You versus Bryan Danielson.
Now, a match with Bryan would be great. I've always loved his technical work. A submission match between 2 highly skilled submission artists would make the people go crazy. He and I would just battle in the middle of the ring trying to get each other to tap out.
You vs. Matt Watch.
Now here's a great underrated wrestler that people don't talk about enough. Buddy is amazing and deserves to be in main event level matches. He and I have similar looks, similar builds, and both of us can go. My dream match with Buddy would be an Extreme Rules match where we can basically beat the hell out of each other without fear of disqualification.
You versus CHRIS Jericho.
Jericho has put on a lot of great matches over the years. Everyone loves a good brawl with Jericho. I think that a cage match would be amazing between Jericho and I. Plus, with the cage, Jericho can always escape or get out of a tight situation if things really get out of hand.
You vs. Christian Cage.
Christian and I have had some good matches over the years and have even teamed together in tag teams a few times. Our chemistry is really great in the ring. My dream match with Christian would be a no DQ match. Christian can be ruthless, and he and I would be really hard on one another in a no rules type of match.
You versus Silado Castagnoli.
Claudio's great, always has been. A match with him would be awesome. My dream match with Claudio would be in a ladder match. Claudio is an amazing high flyer, so he can get to the top of the ladder and reach for that object he needs to grab, but I would be chasing him every step of the way, trying to get my hands on him.
You versus rated R superstar Adam Copeland.
You know, I've always thought that me and Adam were a lot alike, in the ring and outside of it. We have both worked very hard to get where we are in our careers and are very devoted to our wives and families. Dream match between me and Edge would be one last man standing match. Edge and I would tear each other limb from limb until one of us cannot get up after a 10 count.
You versus Daniel Garcia.
Daniel is really good and the potential is there big time. He has a bright future ahead of him. My dream match for me versus Daniel would be a falls count anywhere match. We would battle through the arena, going in and out of the ring, through the stands, all over the place.
You versus Eddie Kingston.
Another underdog, But Eddie is a fighter through and through. He will give you all that he has and then some in the ring. My dream match between Eddie and I would be a hardcore match. We would be destroying each other with whatever we can find in the arena and in the ring.
You versus scapegoat Jack Perry.
Perry is an up-and-comer for sure. He's in his early 20s, but he knows how to go in the ring and put on a show. My dream match between me and Perry would be a last man standing match. Perry and I would battle, and no matter how much we beat each other, we would keep getting up and fighting.
Could you imagine this match? You, Jay White?
Wow, that would be awesome. Not just for me and White, but for the fans. We are both great at working the audience and would have them invested in every move we make. I think a street fight would be an awesome way to see two competitors like us battle.
You versus Jeff Jarrett.
You know, I think that me and Jeff would work well together because of our different styles. A lot of people would probably not expect a good match from us, but we would show them all just how good we really are. A dream match between Jeff and I would probably be a cage match. I imagine him trying to escape the cage and me having to put every ounce of my energy into getting him back in there so he can't run from the Viper.
You vs technical beast Josh Woods.
Man, Woods is a great in the ring. He's very technical and is also an amazing submission artist. A match with him and me would be a 60-minute Iron Man submission match. We both are great at making a man tap out, so I think the crowd would enjoy that.
You first Katsuyori Shibata.
Shibata is extremely talented, and he's not a big fan of pulling his punches. My dream match with him would be a Texas death match. I imagine it would be a hard-hitting, rough, and bloody match where he and I are both fighting for our lives and leaving absolutely everything in the ring.
You with Litmus Keith Lee.
Keith Lee is a very impressive man. He's talented in the ring and has that it factor that everyone loves. My dream match between Lee and I would be a last man standing match. I can see it now. Us beating on each other, and neither of us giving up.
You, Murderhawk Monster Lance Archer.
Archer is one of the most hard-hitting men on the planet. Archer is one of the most hard-hitting men on the planet. His style is aggressive, and he doesn't hold anything back. Dream match with Archer and I would be an Extreme Rules match. I could see us beating the hell out of each other with everything we can get our hands on.
You versus Leo Rush.
Man, oh man, Rush is one of the fastest, most talented wrestlers I've ever seen. He doesn't hold anything back and has all the confidence in the world. The dream match between me and him would be a 2 out of 3 falls match. I would have to go all out just to get the upper hand on him.
You versus Mark Briscoe.
Briscoe is a true talent. He may have a wild personality outside the ring, but when he gets in there, he puts on a great show. My dream match between me and Briscoe would be a Falls Count Anywhere match. Give Briscoe and me enough room to brawl, we will leave a trail of destruction behind us and entertain the crowd 100%.
You versus Matt Seidel.
Seidel is very talented in the ring. He is also great at putting together an overall performance that the fans love. My dream match between Seidel and myself would have to be a 3 stages of hell match. First stage would be a wrestling match. The second would be a no DQ match. And the third, if it comes to it, would be a Hell in the Cell match.
You versus MJF.
That's an intimidating one. MJF knows how to rile the crowd up and get them behind. Is also very talented between the bells. The dream match between me and MJF would be an I Quit match. We would beat the hell out of each other until one of us says those 2 magic words.
You vs Swerve Strickland.
Swerve is one of the best bad guys you can ever have. He has an intimidating style and he brings an attitude to the ring. My dream match between me and Swerve would have to be a lumberjack match. An old style match, but I can imagine him and me battling in the ring while we have lumberjacks surrounding us, ready to beat us both down.
You vs the Beast Mordos.
Now that would be a match you don't want to miss. Mortis is as brutal as can be and doesn't hesitate to demolish his opponents. My dream match between me and Mortis would be a barbed wire match. Mortis and I would go for the kill, leaving both of us beaten, broken, and bloody in the ring.
You versus Will Ospreay.
You have to respect Ospreay's dedication and talent in the ring. He's one of the best high flyers in the business and gives the fans a great show every time. My dream match between me and Ospreay would be a Falls Count Anywhere match. I can see us battling all over the arena, battling on top of tables and jumping off the stage onto each other. It would be chaotic. Also, Ospreay could sell my DDT and RKO like no one else.
You versus Sammy Guevara.
Guevara is a young man full of energy and potential. He knows how to get under a guy's skin and get him to do something he might regret. My dream match between me and Guevara would be a hardcore match. Guevara and I would get our hands on all sorts of weapons in the arena and beat the hell out of each other with them.
You versus Powerhouse Hobbs.
Now that would be a dream match. Hobbs is an absolute beast in the ring and only seems to get meaner by the match. My dream match with Hobbs would be an Iron Man match. And I say that because I know he could go the distance with me and hold his own.
You versus freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy.
I remember watching Cassidy in AEW back when he just started and thinking, who's this guy with all the orange juice? Then I quickly realized that Cassidy is one of those guys that doesn't have an off switch. He is always ready to go in the ring. My dream match with him and me would have to be a lights out match. Lights out matches are no holds barred and anything and everything can happen. I can imagine Cassidy and me taking the hardcore style of wrestling to new levels.
UVSNIQA.
Here's another young talent who has a very bright future ahead of him. Nick Wayne knows how to get under your skin and knows how to get fans behind him. My dream match with him would be a tables match. We would both put our bodies on the line and go through as many tables as possible to get the victory.
How meet Kim Miri Kessler.
Kim is an absolute sweetheart. She's been with me from the beginning and has been with me through everything I have gone through. We met backstage on Raw one night, the week after I attacked Triple H to join Evolution, and it was love at first sight. She makes me laugh every day and is an amazing mother to our 3 kids.
Do you have a favorite moment in Disneyland?
Yes, I do actually. My favorite memory from Disneyland was when we were at the Indiana Jones stunt show and people were standing up cheering and really getting into it. I looked beside me and saw Kim and my daughters with these huge smiles on their faces, and I thought to myself, I made the right choice marrying her.
What is your favorite place to visit one day?
I think my favorite place to visit one day will be France. I would love to visit Paris and do everything there is to do. I would love to take my family to the top of the Eiffel Tower and take in the sights from the City of Love, then have some fun eating all the great food there.
If you own a flying car, what place you'd be going?
Oh, that's easy. I think if I had a flying car, I would want to go to Tokyo, Japan. Growing up, I was a fan of the movie The Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Drift. I always thought the drifting and all the cars they used looked so cool. I would love to get to see the sights of Tokyo and see if they live up to my expectations.
What did you choose to be wrestler?
I wanted to be a wrestler for as long as I can remember. First time I really watched wrestling was when I was little. My grandpa was watching some old tapes of some Ric Flair matches with me in the room, and I was immediately hooked. I could not take my eyes off the screen. I just sat there in awe watching this man perform and thought, I'm gonna be a wrestler one day.
Do you miss Burn in My Light?
I do, yes. Burn in My Light, that song became me, and I became that song. I remember the first night I came out to that song as a heel, and the heat I was getting, it just fit me and my personality at the time. And I loved singing it in Gorilla. I miss that.
Do you think that song is coming back?
The chances of it coming back are super slim. I think with the amount of money they pay in copyright fees, the fact that I'm not that Randy Orton anymore would take a miracle. I would never say never, though, because wrestling is so weird sometimes.
You was in The Condemned too? You play as Will Tanner?
Yeah, I did. I was shocked when I was asked to do the movie. I had to fly out to Mississippi and film for a few months. The fight scenes were so much fun to do. I had to stay in that fighting mood for a while. Definitely a different experience than being in the ring, though.
But the hardest scene with Eric Roberts?
Eric Roberts was a pleasure to work with. He made the filming process so much easier. I would say the hardest scene was the final fight scene. I had to do this fight scene after a very long day of filming, and my body was dead tired. So it made it difficult to stay in fighting mode.
What the funniest scene with Dylan Cannon?
Dylan is a really funny guy, so there was a few funny scenes in the movie with us in it. But the scene that I think got the most laughs was when I was beating the hell out of his character in the cell. And right when I was about to hit him, all of a sudden the door opened and a bunch of water rushed in, and I fell in the water, butt naked, and you saw my ass on national TV.
You was in Changeland, you play as Martin.
Changeland was a lot of fun. I really loved the character of Martin, and I felt it was pretty close to my actual personality. Funniest thing to me about that movie was that I was filming this in Hawaii, the best and most beautiful place in the world. My character had to act like he was miserable the entire time.
What the funniest scene with Seth Green and Macaulay Culkin?
Oh man, Seth Green is so damn funny. Him and Macaulay Culkin have a scene where they are both tripping on mushrooms, and it's so hilarious. Just the way they interact with each other and react to the things going on around them, it gave me a lot of laughs.
What the hardest scene with Kadar Williams Sterling?
Kadar Williams Sterling was a great actor to work with. Him and I really played off each other well in the movie. The hardest part for me in the entire process was trying my hardest to stay in the angry, aggressive mood for a long period of time. Filming was long days and a lot was expected from both me and Kadar.
You was in 12 Rounds Reloaded. You play as Nick Malloy.
And 12 Rounds Reloaded was awesome. I had so much fun filming that. Stunt work and fight training was so much fun. The hardest scene I had while filming was during the hotel room scene where I fight all the cops. It was a long but fun day.
What the funniest scene with Jesse Hutch play as SWAT?
Jesse Hutch was great. He's also pretty funny. The most memorable scene with him was when he was chasing me up the roof of the building and I was just about to jump onto the next roof and he yells, "Hey, stop!" Right when I was about to jump and I turn around to say a smart-ass comment in reply. Oh, and the funniest line of the movie was when Jesse chasing me through a building and I run down a hallway and he pops out and yells, "Don't make this difficult." And then I just blast through a door and run away. Kawaii, but we both broke character when I ran through that door and had to film it again.
What the hardest scene with John Wardlow?
John, like all of the stunt people, was awesome to work with. Fight scenes we filmed were so much fun. The hardest scene would have to be the end hotel room fight scene. It took so long to shoot because of the amount of different elements and also how long the actual fight was. Also, I was pretty beat up from the day of filming. There was a scene where I climbed down a pipe entire length of the building, then got in a fight on the ground right as I landed. Can imagine that I was very tired by the time the hotel room fight scene came.
You was in That's What I Am. You play as Ed Friel.
Oh, I totally forgot about this movie. That was one of my first roles. Playing the bully role was definitely something different for me. I just remember shooting that movie was really fun. The cast was full of fun young actors and we all just had a great time on set.
What the funniest scene with Amy Madigan?
One scene that makes me laugh every time is when Amy yells to all the high schoolers, "You people need to learn a little respect." That line and her delivery are just perfect. It always makes me laugh.
With the hardest scene with Daniel Roebuck?
Daniel Roebuck was also pretty great to work with. Him and I always hit it off. The hardest scene to film wasn't even a physical scene. My character and Daniel's character spend a lot of time in a car together. Some of the dialogue that we had to spit out was just long and confusing. It took us some time to get it right.
You was in Arena. You played as yourself.
Arena was a lot of fun to shoot. I spent so much time in that cage with a bunch of other wrestlers and we just went at each other. I remember the cage being hot and sweaty. I also remember this one moment in particular where me versus Bob Sapp, and I was trying to take him down to the ground and he had no idea how to take bumps, so he wasn't really helping me at all. It was pretty frustrating, but also pretty hilarious.
What the funniest scene with Kofi Adam?
Kofi was a pretty funny dude. There was just this one moment during filming that sticks out to me. He and I were wrestling in a pretty brutal match, and I hit my finisher on him, the RKO. He's laying on the ground, and I'm standing over him, and the director yells, "Cut!" And Kofi slowly raises his head and looks at the director and then asks, "Was that good?" The director just laughed and then said, "Yeah, we're good." It was hilarious.
What the hardest scene with Johnny Messner?
Johnny is a very experienced actor. I had a lot of fun working with him. The hardest scene for me specifically was the fight scene in the jungle. There wasn't a lot of space to move around, and the vines were slippery and hard to navigate. I also remember it being pretty hot and humid on set, so that made it a lot harder. We also did a lot of fighting in the river in that scene, so I was wet and tired and cold. It was definitely a rough day on set.
What is your social media?
Instagram, Randy Orton. Facebook, Randy Orton. TikTok, Randy Orton.
Do you want to say anything to your friends and family and fans?
To my friends and family, I love you guys so much and thank you for all the love and support. To my fans, thank you all so much for supporting me throughout the years. You all are amazing and I can't wait to continue to thrill you for a long time to come.
You as Matt Cardona in what type of match?
Oh, that's an easy one. Barbed wire death match. Matt and I are both hardcore guys with big personalities, so it's only right to have our match in a hardcore setting.
You remember this live event, this fan low blow you?
I was just posing and this guy ran up to me and just went for it. It all happened so fast I was stunned. Security guy came out of nowhere and took that guy away, but I just looked around like what the hell just happened? Turns out he ran all the way from his seat, attacked me, and security chased him down. I'd say that's got to be the weirdest fan moment that ever happened to me.
What do you think of your old team partner, Matt Riddle?
Love Matt. The first time we met, we just hit it off, became friends really fast, and I loved working with him when we were a team. I remember the first time we were in the ring together backstage and just started cracking up because Matt and I had the same exact thought at the same time. We just looked at each other and started laughing our asses off.
If you want the AEW champion, what's your future plan?
I'd like to get another world championship before I retire. The AEW title would be awesome to get a hold of. I'd like to maybe have a run until Double or Nothing next year and then have a passing the torch match with a younger talent. I definitely want my last match to be a big match where I can go all out and put on a great performance. Then at the end, put over a young guy and wish him good luck.
You versus Malakai Black of AEW champion, what type of match?
Wow. Now that would be an awesome match. I'm a huge fan of Black and think that he's super talented. I would love for him and I to go at it for the AEW championship. I see it going at least 35 minutes. It would be a bloody back and forth, brutal fight. I imagine it being an I Quit match.
What, your childhood?
I was always a very hyperactive kid. I loved playing outdoors and riding my bike. I also spent every free moment playing with my WWF action figures. I had a big imagination and my action figures saw a lot of action. I was also a big video game kid. I grew up playing Nintendo.
What do you want to say to your haters?
My haters can hate all they want. I've worked my ass off to get where I am. I've given blood, sweat, and tears for pro wrestling, and I'm not stopping anytime soon. People have no idea what they're talking about.
What think about your dad, Bob Orton Jr.?
My dad was everything to me. He was my hero. He was a big inspiration to me growing up. I still remember sitting with him watching the wrestling tapes he had. I still remember my first live event where I actually got to watch my dad perform. It was so cool. He has taught me so much about wrestling in my career. He even taught me how to put on the best goddamn rear chin lock.
Remember this moment when slapped Vince McMahon because he said, Randy Orton, you're fired, and you pump kick him?
Yeah, I totally remember that. I was so pissed off at the time. Vince was in my face and saying some terrible things to me. I've always been a hothead when I'm mad and can't really hold back. At the time, he deserved it, so it was kind of satisfying to see his face after I pump kicked him.
Do you remember you are Arco Stephanie McMahon as well?
Oh, how could I forget that one? That was pretty iconic. I'm not afraid to take on anyone in a fight, even a McMahon. It's kind of fun, though, to RKO Steph because I'm taking out two birds with one stone.
Do you have a favorite computer game?
I've always been a fan of the WWE video games. As I stated before, I'm a huge video game fan, but the WWE games have always been my favorite. I've had so much fun playing them throughout the years, especially with my family and friends. That's always the most fun, to sit with your buddies and have some matches.
Do you think Ted DiBiase Jr. will come back to WWE anytime soon?
I hope so. I've always got along with Ted. He's a great guy. At one point, there was plans for Ted and I to be a team after Legacy broke up, but that obviously didn't come to fruition. If he ever did come back, I would welcome him with open arms.
If the Legacy come back for one more ride, who's your dream appointment?
That's a good question. I think if I were to get the Legacy back together for one more match, it would have to be a big match. I think I'd have to pick a big team, a team that's been around for some time and very successful. I think I'd have to go with the Hardy Boys. That would be a hell of a match.
In what type of match?
Probably a Hell in a Cell match. The three of us versus the Hardys, inside the cell, and anything goes. That would be a wild, brutal, and exciting match.
Why do you think this rumor people want you to join a...
Well, I've heard the rumors, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious. AEW is a hot product with some great talent. Obviously, I have lots of respect for the company, people who run it. I think the reason people are speculating is because I have been in talks with Tony Khan.
You vs. Brian Myers in a dream match.
I think that's a great idea for a match. I think that Brian Myers and I would put on a great show. I remember a while back I was supposed to have a match at an indie show that he got sick and couldn't make it. That left me without an opponent. And to this day, I'm kind of bummed about it because I would have loved to go up against him. Maybe one day we'll have that fight.
In what type of match?
A hardcore match of some kind. Like a no-holds-barred match. It's best for the both of us. I love hardcore matches, and I know Brian Myers would put up a hell of a fight. Now that I think about it, that would be a good match for a pay-per-view. Brian Myers versus myself. no holds barred. I'm definitely pitching that match to my agent.
Do you want anything before the video ends?
I just want to thank everyone that has been a fan of mine throughout the years. I've been in the biz for quite a long time. The reason I've been able to continue doing this for so long is because of my amazing fans. I love you all so much, and keep watching Raw and SmackDown on USA and the new season of The Ultimate Fighter starting soon on FS1.
How did you broke up with Samantha Spinner?
That was a pretty devastating time for me. We were together for over 5 years, and one of our biggest dreams was to get married and start building our family. She was an amazing girl and my best friend in the entire world. Sadly, we just grew apart in our lives and ended up going separate ways, but I'll always have a place in my heart for Samantha.
How long you and Kim Marie Kessler been together?
Kim and I have been together for almost 9 years now. We've been married for 4 of those. My wife has been my rock. Being in the wrestling business can take a toll, and having to go away for weeks at a time can be really difficult. But I can always trust Kim to hold the fort down, and she's the first face I want to see when I get home.
What is the worst injury that you did?
That's a good one. I've had a lot of injuries throughout my career. My shoulder's been bad on and off, but the absolute worst injury I ever had was a herniated disc on C6, C7. That's a terrible injury. It completely numbed my right arm. I had to get surgery, and to this day, I still suffer from pain in my neck and shoulder because of it.
Thanks again. Have a good day. If you say one last time before In It For Good, you can say whatever you want.
Thanks for a great interview. I was happy to be here. I want to thank everyone for reading this interview and supporting me. To my wife, Kim, I love you. And to my haters, screw you. My best friend, Bray Wyatt, rest in peace, brother, and I'll see you on the other side. I miss you. We all do. To my fans, keep listening to my podcast. Randy Orton Knows Best. It's always a fun ride.